My name is Pablo, and I'm going to be reading Malaysian children's favorite stories by text by K. Leons, illustrations by Martin Law. And I'm going to be reading it because I live in Malaysia. I'm going to read Badang, the strongest man below the wind. Long ago, a young man named Badang lived in one of the lands below the wind. Lands below the wind are those where the monsoon winds do not blow. Badang liked to watch the sailing ships in the harbor. When the monsoon wind blew over the lands above the wind, the ships sailed to the lands below the wind where the seas were calmer. Badang wanted to become a sailor and go to the sea. But the sailors just laughed at him. "You can't be a sailor," they said. "You're too thin and weak. Sailors must be strong." So Badang tried to become a fisherman, but the fisherman just laughed at him. "You can't be a fisherman," they said. "You're too thin and weak. Fishermen must be strong." Badang was very poor. He did not own a boat. All he had was a fish strap that belonged to his father, but his mother and father had both died. He was all alone in the world. One day Badang went to look at his fish trap in the river. It was empty, but on the riverbank there was a pile of fish bones. "Who has eaten my fish?" wondered Badang. "Wait till I catch him." Badang was thin and weak, but he was brave. His father had often told him that courage was more important than strength. That night Badang hid in the bushes on the riverbank. He waited for the thief to come. At midnight he saw a tall black figure going to the fish trap. It was the water spirit. Badang watched him open the fish trap and start eating the fish. The water spirit had teeth like a shark and claws like a crab and looked very strong. Badang had heard many stories about the water spirit. He had heard that catch by bringing big waves with strong winds that sank boats and ships. Now he was stealing Badang's catch. The brave Badang rushed out of the bushes and grabbed the water spirit's arms. It was scaly and muddy. The water spirit tried to escape, but Badang hung on tightly. He looked the water spirit straight in the eye. The water spirit was much more stronger than Badang. Badang's fearless eye made him feel weak. "Please let me go," begged the water spirit. "I won't let you go," replied Badang. "You have eaten my fish." "Make a wish," said the water spirit, "and I will grant your wish." "My wish is to become the strongest man below the wind," said Badang. "Very well," said the water spirit, and cast a magical spell. Badang saw the gleam in the water spirit's eyes and knew that somehow the water spirit had tricked him. "You will become the king's chief wrestler," the water spirit told Badang. "You must only fight men from lands below the wind. If you fight men from lands above the wind, you will lose your strength." "Very well," said Badang, and let the water spirit go. As the water spirit dived into the river, he called, "Pull up a tree, Badang, near the strongest man below the wind." So Badang pulled up a small tree. That was easy. He pulled a bigger tree. That was easy too. He pulled up the biggest tree he could see. It was not uproot all the trees. Strength must be used wisely. Now at last I can become a sailor, he thought. So he went to the harbor. There was a big crowd. Everyone was looking very worried. "What has happened?" asked Badang. "A ship and a fishing boat have collided," an old man told him. Badang dived into the sea. His new strength has made him a good swimmer. He helped the men in boats rescue the sailors and fishermen from the sinking ships. Then he put the ship and the fishing boat back to shore. The people were astonished. Badang became their hero. "We are sorry we laughed at you," said the sailors and the fishermen who had laughed at Badang when he was weak. "You saved their lives." The king asked Badang to become his chief wrestler. "Thank you," said Badang. Please don't ever ask me to fight men from lands above the wind." "Of course I won't do that," said the king. Soon Badang became famous. Kings of other lands below the wind sent their chief wrestlers to fight against Badang. He always won, and soon became known as the strongest man below the wind. The king was very pleased. He often took Badang sailing with him. This made Badang very happy. One day the king received a letter from the king of a land above the wind. "We hear," wrote this king, "that you are afraid to let Badang fight men from lands above the wind. Please let our best wrestler Aftabus fight against Badang. We are sure Aftabus can win." The king was very angry. This king is calling me a coward, thought the king. I am not afraid. He quickly sent a letter to the other kings agreeing to fight between Afterbus and Badang. Nobody told Badang that Afterbus came from a land above the wind. The king had told them to keep it a secret. A huge crowd gathered to watch the fight. 2 shiploads of people had come with Afterbus. They cheered for Afterbus and Badang's friends cheered for him. Badang was small and looked very weak, but everyone knew he was strong. As soon as the fight began, Badang knew that he had lost his strength. Afterbus threw Badang to the ground and sat on him. Badang remembered the words of the water spirit. You must only fight men from lands below the wind. If you fight men from lands above the wind, you will lose your strength. This is how the water spirit tricked me, thought Badang. He knew that the king would ask me to fight everyone, even from lands above the wind. Badang was not afraid. He looked Afterbus straight in the eye and used all his strength to push him off. Badang's fearless eyes made Afterbus feel weak, so Badang was able to push him off easily. Badang won the fight. His friends were very, very happy. Only Badang knew that he had won the fight against Afterbus because he had lost his courage. He even thought he had lost his strength. Thank you. I hope you had fun hearing me say that. And make sure to watch the other videos and subscribe and hit the notification button.